The Orange Empire Railway Museum is home to over 200 historic railway cars and steam-powered locomotives. Just walking around, you feel as if you've been transported back in time. It is for this reason that it serves as the quintessential backdrop for a steampunk carnival. But just what is steampunk? Ask around, and you're more than likely to get a variety of answers.
My philosophy when it comes to steampunk, because I get asked this question a lot, is it is the easy way to describe it is it's a science fiction fantasy set in the Victorian Wild West era. I think it's actually a little even deeper than that because what happens is you have science fiction fantasy. When people think science fiction, they think the future, space travel, robots, laser swords. When people think fantasy, they think Dungeons and Dragons, swords, knights, elves, that kind of stuff. I believe that steampunk actually works for everything that's in between. You know, you got your post-apocalyptic world. You have your your Victorian, your typical. You have your Wild West, but then you can also have your monster hunters. Your supernatural elements in it, and pretty much any of those things that doesn't really fit into the Venn diagram of one of the other two fits into steampunk.
The museum holds various events year-round. We talked to Orange Empire Railway Museum employees as to the reason for deciding to host their first ever Steampunk Carnival.
We do different events out here, and we like to change up our events occasionally. And so we have one of our representatives, her name was Donna, and she had gone out and looked at some of the events coming up. And we've always heard about this steampunk. And so we decided that we would go ahead and hold our first annual event with it. We planned it over a couple of months or so, going and getting it ready and having it ready to come out. So far, it's turned out to be a very good event, a very interesting event. A lot of people out here for it. It's a very interesting group of people. They hold different events around the state here. So we decided that this year we would hold one here and see what the turnout would be like.
Vendors from all over Southern California are given the chance to exhibit and sell their one-of-a-kind, reimagined, and elaborate steampunk-oriented fashion, jewelry, and contraptions.
So we take women from their street clothes and turn them into beautiful women in corsets. And I mean, anyone who puts on a prom dress or a beautiful dress and a corset, when they look in the mirror, it's like a makeover and a transformation. So seeing that look on people's faces is actually the most rewarding part of our job.
Some of these guns that I carry, these are non-firing prop replicas. They're made by Denix out of Spain. I carry revolvers, I carry flintlocks, all sorts of different types of guns, and they're really popular because. People like weapons. When you're talking steampunk, people like to be prepared. They like to be pirates. They like to be mercenaries. All that kind of stuff. It's a wild world. You want to be armed, so I find that the firearms are really popular that I sell.
I originally was a pirate jewelry designer, if there's such a thing, and so I do kind of have a nautical leaning. But so my steampunk jewelry has a lot of compasses and mermaids and mythical nautical creatures. I take pieces of cuckoo clocks and tear them apart and put them back together again and make them into jewelry.
Many incredibly imaginative steampunk enthusiasts of all ages are eager to enjoy everything the Steampunk Carnival has to offer.
It's like a Victorian theme, like Jules Verne meets science fiction type event, and so many of the people that come love to get dressed up in the costuming and so forth, and they really get into their characters. A lot of them have their own special personas that they develop over time, and they like to come and actually play out their personas while they're here, which is interesting too. So it's a lot of fun.
I have always been in love with Victorian clothing, and I've always been a science fiction reader. And when I started reading as a child, it was Jules Verne, and then you bring in Wild Wild West, and I've always liked the future. The retro future is what we call it. It's almost like the Industrial Revolution really didn't happen, and that where they made things were a lot more beautiful, and you had a lot more. not everything was the same, and you could actually show your individuality in how you dressed and what you made to go with the costumes, and that's kind of what made us really get into it, thinking that it was a time when not, as I said, not everything was the same thing.
My parents, they got me into it, you know, and I used to be really embarrassed. Like, mind you, I used to be really embarrassed. It's my parents, dude. You know, I'm never gonna get to do this ever again, and you know, they're cool. I mean, who wouldn't want to like hang out with their parents dressed up like that? Come on, dude.
Missed the Iron Horse Family Steampunk Carnival? Well, you're in luck. The Orange Empire Railway Museum plans on making it an annual event.
We're planning on having them come back, and as the first time, it's not as large. We're hoping to get it larger.
Yeah. I think we're hoping to really grow with this event and bring out more and more people and get them interested in this particular genre. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to future events for it.